on the wheels, but she had a piece of paper clutched in her hand, which she wanted to share with us. And that piece of paper was a diploma, which showed that she had graduated from high school with honors, which had only happened because she was allowed to sit up again from our first surgery. The tears of joy that she had at that point and we shared with her was an amazing experience. After we got over the tears, I asked her what she wanted to do with all her newfound freedom, and without a second thought, she said what every teen probably wants to say, I want to go somewhere without my mother. Over the next couple trips, the therapist and our brace man were able to develop a system that would allow Tatiana to stand up and use the little power she had in her legs to be able to stand up at a drafting table because she wanted to become a graphic artist. I still remember the look of sheer determination mixed with the triumph and joy that she had on her face when she got up the first time, clutching the side of the table and standing up. She was so excited and so elated, and that smile was just priceless. The therapists also developed some special rigging so that her hands would be free, so she could stand at a drafting table, not sit at it. She could be just like her peers and do her work.
Talking about legs that don't work, Roosevelt is a little boy that we saw with these deformities from osteogenesis imperfecta. His only wish in life was to be able to stand and not be laughed at. But his legs were so deformed, they were like spaghetti under him because of the softness of the bones. He came in with his dad, who had walked him down for several hours down the Andes. He had been to several places and had had several procedures done on his legs, but none of them had corrected the deformities. Just about at the time that they arrived at the clinic, the floods arrived and the roads were getting blocked. There were major landslides on the way, and we had to tell them that they may need to go back home while they still could go home. And yet the dad sat there and waited for these other emergencies to be taken care of, these trauma emergencies. And then finally he said, I'm going to wait, I'm going to stay because of my son. And of course, Roosevelt had his surgery and his legs were straightened out. But to me, there was an amazing portion to that story. It was the dad, Kondori. When we finish the surgeries, there is a lot of activity to try to get ready for the next case. And Kondori, his dad, came over to the recovery room as all the parents are brought into the recovery room to take care of their kids while they are waking up. And he looked at his son, and both his legs were nice and straight. And Roosevelt was awake and had survived the surgery, this major surgery. And Kondori tried to stop all the activity around us. And finally he got my eye and we said, okay, he has something to say or something that he wants to question. And so we all stopped around him. And I remember that moment so clearly. Here was this gentleman who was dealing with completely different people, these peculiar people from a different culture, from a different place. And here he was from the rural areas of the Andes and had not confronted people like us before. And yet he made us stop because he had something to say. He took his hat off and then he started to speak, but the words never came. And all he could do was put his arms around us and hug us. And to me, that was an amazing moment. Because at that point, it didn't really matter who was the giver or the taker. We were all takers at that moment. It was a moment that basically depicted what this is all about. It is not about people going and doing things to other people. It is not about people receiving. It is about a connection. It is a human connection. And to me, that is the driving force behind what goes on. After all of these trips, I always think about it and I ask myself this question. What is it that drives us to do this? And I know that it has been an amazing journey. It is the trust and the intense emotion of this journey that occurs in us. These journeys open our souls. They make us deal with ourselves and our inadequacies and emotions. It also makes me ask the question, could we all have been made from the same mold? A mold that creates in us the same emotions, the same needs and the same joys. The mold that lets us all be plagued by the same demons of disease and deformity and fear. And could it be that our nationality, our religions, our dress, our status in life, all of those things are merely the decoration over and above that mold?